Hello and welcome to UK Asia Online. My name is VG Alice and I'm here today with Jacqueline Fernandez, model, TV presenter, beauty queen, actor,
Wow.
philanthropist,
Yes.
speaker of 6 or 7 languages. What's the actual figure then?
I have to add that I don't speak them fluently.
Okay.
But I've basically traveled a lot in my life, and I've grown up in the Middle East in Bahrain, so I can kind of speak a little bit of Arabic, and being a Sri Lankan as well, even though it wasn't Sinhalese wasn't a language that we actually spoke at home. It was something that I picked up when I moved back there and started getting into journalism and TV and stuff. French I learned in school.
Okay.
Spanish I learned at the Berlitz because it was just something I had to kind of get my fingers into. And most recently it's Hindi. And right now, over the past 4 years, it's been the one language that I've really been concentrating on, obviously, for my work. And I seem to have forgotten all the rest.
I mean, your English is amazing.
Except English.
English is amazing. We're in London, and you're here on a very special trip as well.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, actually, I'm here to support Pratham. They have a fundraiser tomorrow, and I'm basically here to support the cause and create a little awareness about it, and hopefully raise enough money to continue with the amazing work that Pratham is doing in India, which of course is educating children across the country, and for me is one of the most important things I think any organization can do, because I truly feel that every child has a right to education. I know how far my education has gotten me and the opportunities that it's given me, and I just think it's amazing that there are people out there working to make sure that every child gets that opportunity. Yeah.
And you already work with underprivileged children in Sri Lanka. Is that correct? Or?
Well, I mean, actually, when the tsunami did happen in Sri Lanka, we did do a lot of work for the kids that were left abandoned and orphaned. So we helped out with the churches over there as well, and that was just something that we just did privately, like as a family. But in terms of organizations, Pratham is something that I support, and of course PETA is there as well. Yeah.
PETA as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, of course. But you're a movie star first and foremost. So let's talk about film. 2013 got off to a bit of a bang for you.
Yes.
Race 2. But you're not doing much for the rest of the year except for I'm sure an eagerly anticipated item number. Tell me about that. How did you get into that?
Well, actually, Prabhudeva had expressed interest in working with me after he saw Race 2. And he basically wanted someone who could dance for this item song. And at the same time, even though he's never seen me dance like Desi or Indian or anything, because I've pretty much done only very westernized Bollywood
I'm sure, yeah.
numbers. He basically had the idea that it would be interesting to see me in that different avatar, and to kind of challenge me in that way. So for me, this was like this huge opportunity to work with someone who I look up to so much, and dance alongside him and be choreographed by him. So it was extremely exciting, and the song is coming out I think next month.
Cool.
Jadoo Ki Chappi. And it was really fantastic because we shot all over Chandigarh, and it was in the fields, and we're introducing a new boy as well in the movie.
Okay.
So it's quite an ambitious project for Prabhu sir, and I definitely know that the song will do very well. It was a fantastic song.
Just going back to the dancing aspect. Obviously, you weren't a classically trained dancer growing up. Would it be accurate to say that that's been possibly, after language, obviously, that's been one of the hardest things in your journey in Bollywood? Do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, like, honestly, when I first came, the first movie I did was Aladdin.
Yeah.
And I had Saroj Khan screaming down the mic all the time at me because I could never get my steps right. And I was...
Shake your hips more. Or...
Oh, it was completely, that's all she would tell me. She'd say, you're not moving your hips, you know. And, you know, I had to like match, you know, Mr. Bachchan, who is an impeccable dancer. Actually, his timing is spot on. And here I was, I didn't know anything about dance. Forget classical, you know, dance. I didn't know anything about simple, basic turns and spins and just anything. And I think it just came down to, you know, lack of confidence. You know, it was my first movie. I was intimidated. I was nervous. And as time went by, I think you just kind of get so used to it. Like, I would never call myself a good dancer or anything, but I understand it now, you know, and I understand what it means to perform for the camera. And it just came down to that. Yeah.
And I suppose one of the interesting things for me is how, in spite of saying, you know, you've been very kind of choosy with your film roles. And also you've said that, you know, you're very careful about not being typecast.
Yeah.
And yet, particularly as a sex symbol.
Yeah.
And yet you're going to be doing this very, very sensual, very sexual thing. I mean, the fact that mainstream stars like Priyanka Chopra, Deepika and Katrina Kaif, obviously, the fact that they are now doing item numbers, has that been a bit of a motivation for you, do you think? Or?
Well, you know, the first item song I did was Apni To Jaise Taise, and that was for House for One, and that was in 2010. And even though it wasn't anything, I mean, I never aimed to, you know, to do item songs. For me, I was like, I just want to be part of good movies. I wanted to just do good roles. And when that opportunity came to me, I was like, at the end of the day, it's an opportunity, you know, and, you know, to be kind of, be able to work with this fantastic kind of crew and on a great number. Bollywood thrives on good music, you know, and your popularity, I mean, just grows, you know, if they've seen you dance and they like the way you dance and you have a fantastic hit behind you, you actually take the credit for it, you know, so... item songs, you know, of course they're there to promote the movie. But a lot of actors do take advantage of the fact that it promotes themselves as well.
Yeah, but also the other side of the argument is, of course, the fact that some are of the view that item songs aren't really necessary in this day and age. Might even be driven to say things like, oh, it's degrading for women. I suppose it's all about striking that balance between it being entertaining and...
I'm sure that there are some people out there who, or there are some item songs out there that have kind of crossed the line and, you know, they've been, you know, kind of created more to titillate than anything, you know. But, I mean, if you work with... I mean, you kind of know who the good ones are, you know, the good production houses, you know, the good actors, and you kind of know that they wouldn't do anything to objectify you or to take advantage, you know, and I think it's just about working with those people. And item songs have actually been a tradition of Bollywood, you know, they've been around since a very long time, you know, respectable actresses have done a lot of item songs, and their sole purpose has been there to promote movies.
Yeah.
And it's basically like saying, well, song and dance is not necessary anymore. That's not true, because it's just part of the culture. It's part of the tradition.
Yeah, it's a part of the culture stretching back on. You know,
yeah, exactly. It's been 200. It's been 100 years now. Yeah.
There you go. But okay, moving on. Obviously, next year's. So that's all you're going to be doing for the rest of 2013. But next year, Roy, opposite possibly the hottest male actor in Bollywood at the moment. You excited about that? Tell me.
No.
Can you? No. Okay.
Not at all.
Journalists ask silly questions sometimes. Duh.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
But
what's that story about? I mean, a little bit about the film. Can you reveal or?
You know, it's in its very, very early stages right now.
Okay.
And for me, it was you know, just the fact that you know, I'm getting to work with someone who I'm really, really really inspired by, and that is Ranbir Kapoor. And in every single interview, before Roy, if you'd asked me who I wanted to work with, who my favorite actor was, whatever it was, I'd always mention Ranbir because I've literally loved him since Savaria. I think he's just, this phenomenal energy, on screen. And I think that this is possibly the most exciting thing that could happen to me in my career right now because, he's someone that I do look up to, and getting to work with someone that you admire, I think is just an amazing thing.
Would you categorize it as like the culmination of a journey that actually began in 2006 and has been a bit of a slog? Is that an accurate description?
Yeah, it has. Of course it has. But I think anything that you love or you want to achieve, you have to work for it. And some people kind of just get there really fast, overnight, and some people it takes a little bit of time. I mean, for me, it was difficult to cast me in the beginning because people were so unsure of my language. They were unsure of my look, and now it's kind of like.
Why would they be unsure?
No, because I don't look traditionally very Indian, So for them, I don't even look Sri Lankan, to a lot of people.
No, you definitely don't look Sri Lankan.
Yeah, so so basically there was that there was that little issue. But now having done a couple of movies, people can say my name, they can pronounce my name, and they recognize me. And they recognize me as a Bollywood actress, and that kind of took a little bit of time. I can do my interviews now in Hindi, broken Hindi, English, and that's the process and the progress that I've been making, and that's just made me more acceptable to the audience.
Was there ever a point where maybe somebody suggested or you thought to yourself, maybe Jacqueline Fernandez, or should I go with something like, I don't know, Rekha or Priya or Dimple or something?
Absolutely.
Crossed your mind?
Well, yeah. When we'd finished shooting Aladdin, Sujoy actually came up with the suggestion that maybe we should change your name, and then we thought about it. We made a huge list of names.
Cool.
And then after like a day of like kind of going through the names and realizing that none of them suited me, Sujoy was like, you know what, this is a terrible idea. He's like, that's your name, stick to it, and if they want to know you, they'll learn how to say it, and that's exactly what happened.
And the language you still kind of dub over after the film's done, or is that the normal practice? How do you manage with the language now?
The language, it took some time, but I'm pretty comfortable with it now, actually.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. And I started dubbing from my second movie.
Okay.
And which, it's good because it kind of pushes you a little bit more. So I still know, like, I can't bunk that Hindi class of mine because, like, I have to dub and it is going to be my voice at the end of the day,
So did you say you can't bunk your Hindi class?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do take classes,
Yes.
and that's the whole 9 yards. Okay.
Yeah. There's
Right.
diction, there's
Of course.
reading, there's writing, it just, like, goes on. It's never ending. Yeah.
What's been the hardest thing for you? I mean, essentially you're an outsider in Bollywood. And I suppose the other way of putting it is, do you get the sense that you will always be an outsider, that you will kind of, I don't know, reach a pinnacle in terms of a Bollywood actress, or you will remain on the fringes? Is it possible for you, do you think, to kind of reach that? Do you believe in that? How do you look at the whole thing?
Well, one example I could give you is Katrina Kaif.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I first came into India and was signed for Aladdin, there was like this talk about this foreign girl, and she can't speak any Hindi, and how is she going to make it? And that was Katrina Kaif, at that time, and then all of a sudden, like, she just became like this huge sensation, and she worked really hard, and people basically applauded her for the fact that, she kind of pushed herself to learn the language, and she's, You know, she's really kind of put herself out there. You know, so I think for a lot of young girls who've maybe come from abroad, she stays as that kind of example that, you know, there is an acceptance and people are willing to accept. And Bollywood is just becoming so much more globalized right now that you're getting people from all different parts of the world, you know, in Bollywood and part of the industry, and it's really great. You know, I mean, like we just had like Spielberg down, and you know, he's also kind of like gearing up to be part of it. So it's just this amazing kind of globalization that's taking place right now, and I don't see it as something that's impossible. You know, for anyone. You know, so obviously not. I would never kind of set that kind of limit for myself. Like, oh no, because I'm an outsider and I'll just kind of remain in the back. You know, no. I think anyone can kind of come in and make a difference.
And finally, in a context like that, Spielberg coming in, India going to Cannes, you know, India being the guest country at Cannes this year, etc., etc. What would you actually like to do? I mean, for instance, you know, lead an Anurag Kashyap film. What would be your ideal achievement in that context, do you think?
Well, obviously, I mean, like for any actor, you just want to basically be part of memorable roles and memorable films. So for me, that is my goal. And on saying that, there's just, I mean, you know, for an actor, you just want to keep growing and expanding. And I think right now there's this amazing thing that's happening with cinema where, you know, you could be anyone or you could be from anywhere, but you can just kind of transcend into different cinemas and you can transcend into different languages. And I want to be able to kind of do that. And you know, just reach out possibly internationally and explore different aspects of cinema from around the world. And you know, if it means doing work in Sri Lanka, India, Europe, you know, just kind of exploring and challenging.
Okay, let me rephrase it then. 100 years of Bollywood cinema this year. If there was one role that you'd like to reprise, what would that be?
Madhubala in
Madhubala.
Mughal-e-Azam.
In Mughal-e-Azam.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.